Stacy and I were talking this morning. There's a couple pictures on some of the old videos of me that look horrible, but oh well. Like, you know, the freeze frame makes me look like I'm disfigured. So,
That's okay. They all make me look chunky.
well, they do. Well, I am chunky, so that's the problem there. So, all right. Well, should we get started, you guys?
We've got three more coming in.
Oh, okay. What you got?
This is Sherilyn. I'm on the cell phone 408 number.
Okay. Hi, Sherilyn.
Hello.
And who's on the
And this is-
585 number?
Hold on.
This is Joyce.
Joyce, are you the 585 number?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. All righty. I'm just trying to figure out who. And Moira's on too?
Yep.
Yep.
Hear me?
Hello. Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. Good.
All right. Okay. So let's get started here today. Are you guys, can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm getting a phone call or something, so I'm going to just kind of ignore it. So we have three new mentors. We have Jen Schindler, and we have Moira Fisher, and they're both from California, and then Donna Lee, who is from Louisiana. Donna Lee is not on yet, apparently. I got a text that there's a fire in her, so she's stuck in traffic. So she'll be coming on in a little bit. So, Carla, do you want to do a roll call, or do you got everybody marked off?
I got it. I got everybody on so far.
Okay, good. All righty. We've got just, a few things that people have brought to my attention. Someone had asked about the update on the standing rules. What should we be telling our chapters? What's going on with that? Amy, do you have any information for us? Should the chapters be sending in their standing rules at this point?
They can still send them in to me. I just talked to Stacy today, and we have an updated template.
Amy, are you on?
Can you hear me?
Okay. Now I can. Yep.
I talked to Stacy today. We have
Oh.
an updated template. So chapters can send them in to me.
Mhm.
And then if they have anything different than what the template is, I'll let them know what it is. But I'm hoping to have the template up on the website by the end of the week.
And then Amy, once you review
So the
these,
mentors,
I'm sorry. Amy, once you review these, then did they come to the NEB for final approval?
No, because once they go through the template that we already have, as long as it's similar to that, it doesn't need to be reviewed. As long as there's nothing crazy in it.
Okay.
okay. Let's see. So we can tell our chapters that like in about a week, it should be on the website. So then we could tell our
Yes.
chapters to find it. Do you know,
Yes.
will it be in the files?
I will talk to Jeannie. Well, I can ask Jeannie right now because I think she's on.
Okay, Jeannie, what do you say?
I would put it wherever Stacy tells me to put it. I don't know where, nobody said where they want it to go, but wherever they want it to go, we can make it happen.
I would assume it would be in the files.
I would think so too, because this morning when Stacy and I were talking, she was looking in the files for it.
Right.
So once that's on the website, Jeannie, do you want to send me a message and I can send a message to the mentors for that about that?
Yep, I can do that.
Jeannie, are you on?
Yep, I can do
Okay,
that.
yeah. And so once the template is on the website, I'll send an email to all of the mentors, letting them know, and then they can let their chapters know that they should take a look at it and add anything to it or change anything that they have that's different than the template and then send it in. Amy, will the email be on that template?
It will be, and I do want to say that standing rules are not mandatory.
As to where to send it?
Yes, standing rules are not mandatory. So if they don't send their standing rules in,
Okay,
they don't get in trouble.
oh, okay. Oh, okay. But why
So
would we have standing rules?
Okay, so
Then.
here's the thing, Denise, is that if you don't have standing rules, that means that you will follow our governing documents to the T. The standing rules are for the chapters that maybe they want to put some stipulations on who can attend convention. So their members have to
Okay.
attend so
Oh,
many
okay.
meetings. So in order to be a delegate, I mean, anybody can attend convention, but to be a delegate, the chapter may specify that if you want to attend convention, you are required to attend so many meetings throughout the year to be considered
Yeah.
for a delegate. So that's where you would have standing rules. And there's other things like that too.
Okay, that makes sense. So if it's different than what is in the governing documents, we would want to have that in our standing rules. Right?
Yes, as long as it doesn't go against the governing documents.
I keep getting a phone call that I'm trying to ignore. It's probably a. Okay. Okay, I get it now, Rebecca. Does anybody have any questions about that? Yes, no, good. Okay, then we will move on. Compliance time is, the chapters can be working on their compliance anytime now. But just remember, as mentors, we do not have to be dealing with compliance. We do ask you to remind your chapters of the deadlines and encourage them to get it done now rather than at the time of the deadline. If their chapters have any questions about their compliance, you'll want to refer them to the national office or national executive board. So basically refer them to the fourth vice president who is in charge of compliance. And then Brenda, if it's not something that she would be handling, she'll pass that issue on to someone else. But we don't have to be dealing with the chapters and hounding them to get their compliance done. That's not for the mentors to do. Does anybody have any questions about that? No? Good. There's a lot of chapters. I get reports from the mentors saying that they are not getting responses from a chapter. If you feel like it's gone too long, that they haven't responded to your check-ins, too long might be two cycles, or it might be 3 cycles, whatever that may be. If you feel it's time for the NEB to get involved, please call it to our attention. I'm also, when I'm recording the reports on the spreadsheet, I kind of look and see if there's a chapter that's consistently not reporting, then I would let Rebecca know. Does anybody have any comments about that? I think, are you guys there?
Yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I sent out my
Yeah.
introductory.
phone, someone keeps calling me.
You're popular. No, I sent one a couple weeks ago and asked a specific
Oh
question
my gosh. it's
about officers that I
ridiculous.
haven't gotten back yet. So, I'll try again in October.
Denise, it's Ann. I would encourage if you haven't heard from.
Yeah, let's try again the beginning of October, and let me know if any of you ever feel like it's time for the NEB to get involved.
Denise, it's Ann. I would encourage them, if they don't get an answer to their email, to try the old fashioned phone call.
I'm not hearing Ann.
She said maybe give them a phone call if you're not hearing back from them.
Okay. Mine cut out. I didn't hear what Ann said. Can you repeat what you said?
I said, call them if you don't hear from them. Don't just depend on email.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I made note of that, so then I will text them. So you just kind of let us know if you've done everything you can and you feel like they're still not responding. Also, if you feel that the chapters are struggling, if they may make a comment that, I don't know if we're going to make it, we can't find officers, or our membership is dwindling and I think we're just going to close. If they make comments that make it look like they're struggling, let us know that, so that Brenda T, the 4th VP, can get involved and try to talk to them and see if she can help to build them up again. Okay.
What about getting in touch with them monthly, for the mentor check? If they're struggling and Brenda has stepped in.
Well, I don't get it. What do you mean?
I have a chapter that is struggling and I turned it over to you and you turned it over to Brenda. So we're coming up on making the mentor checks again. Do I contact them if they're working with Brenda?
Why don't you send me an email with that specific chapter so I can check with Brenda? She's been pretty good
Okay.
at letting know, and a lot of times she'll copy the mentor on it too, if she's had any results talking to them. Rebecca,
Okay, well, I haven't heard from her.
Okay, send me an email, because I don't even remember right now and I don't have my notes for that right in front of me, but send me an email reminding me of who that is and I'll check.
Denise, Brenda told me today that she's going to be making those calls this week.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. Rebecca, do you want me to be letting you know if there's chapters not responding, or Brenda?
If they're not responding, I need to know if it's a financial, if it's financial issue, or if it is a struggling issue. I'm fine with you going directly to Brenda and then just copying me on it so that I know where we are on it as well.
Okay. All right. Connie had a question. Let's see what she said. Connie is saying, who from the chapter should send in the standing rules?
The president should.
The president should. Okay.
And these standing rules, and I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Standing
No, go
rules
ahead.
need to be approved by the chapter body. So this is not something that just the president or the executive board creates. The executive board can develop them, but they need to present them to their chapter body, and the chapter has got to vote on these as well. This is not just something that they can mandate.
Good point. Okay. So did you guys all get that? Before they're sent into the standing rules committee, they need to be approved by the whole chapter body. Okay. Good point on that one.
And I'm sorry, just one more thing too. You might let your chapters know that even though their chapter body has approved it, they still have to get approval from the national level before they're actually approved.
Okay. That sounds good. Joyce, did you have a question?
No,
No. Oh, okay.
actually, I didn't.
Okay, good.
No, I-
You popped up, so. I'm wondering. All right, financial issues. If any of your chapters or members of the chapters come to you with concerns about their financial, if they've got questions about their financial business, right away, let me know that so we can get the NEB involved.
Mhm.
Yeah, Rebecca, anything to add to that?
No, I think that's about it.
Pretty straightforward. Okay. All right, good. And then the next thing on the list is chapter conflicts. If you've got a chapter that's got some interpersonal conflicts going on and they're coming to you, the mentors don't get involved with that. You need to let us know. The mentors should not be sending the chapters to conflict resolution. The national board does that. So you let me know and I'll get it to the NEB so they can deal with issues. Sometimes they don't have to go to conflict resolution. They can be worked out by someone else, by the national board. So mentors should not get involved with issues, but they should just get us involved with it. Any questions about that?
I would like to jump in on that one.
Yep,
So,
yep.
so it is perfectly fine if somebody comes to you and says that they have a conflict within their chapter. It is perfectly fine for you. Let's just say that this is a member and another board member. It is perfectly fine for you to reach out to the president of that chapter and ask her if she's aware of this conflict. Put it back on the chapter. We're trying to put these conflicts back on the chapters and have the president deal with these at the chapter level. Now, obviously, if the conflict is between a member and the president, that is a little bit different, but we're really trying to get some of these chapters to settle down a little bit and not be so quick to want to file a grievance, because so-and-so rolled their eyes at me during a meeting and she does it every month. We're trying to get the chapters to take hold and take responsibility and get these taken care of. So if you can recommend that it goes back to the chapter first, and if they say the chapter has tried to deal with this and we just cannot deal with it anymore, then definitely it needs to be taken to Denise so it can then come to national. And then we can decide if it's something that conflict needs to get involved with.
Okay, that sounds good. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, go ahead.
This is Sherilyn. My
Hi,
biggest
Sherilyn.
thing after working with one of the chapters was just for the mentors to stay neutral. They're going to probably, if you have a phone call or something, it's going to be natural for them to bring it up. But don't take sides. You really don't know the whole situation, and you need to stay neutral. That's my biggest thing, having dealt with it, is the mentor just needs to stay neutral.
Absolutely, Sherilyn. Thank you so much for saying that. Because as we all know, there are two sides to every story, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth. And so, sometimes it's real easy for us to get sucked into somebody's sob story or the hatefulness and bitterness that's going on, and we really start sympathizing with them. But Sherilyn is exactly right. All the mentors need to stay very neutral and don't give an opinion, don't give them advice on how to do things. But yeah, good point, Sherilyn. Thanks.
Good. Does anybody else have any questions about that? No. The next thing that Stacy wanted to make sure everybody knew and would pass on to their chapters is that there are grants available, not only for the new chapters, but for existing chapters. If you just, apply, tell us what you would want, or tell them what you'd want to use it for. There are $250 grants out there that can be very useful if you've got a project going on, or something specific that you need money for. keep those grants in mind. Ann Parker, do you have any questions? Do you have any comments about that? I know you.
Yeah, a chapter can get one every 2 years. So if a new chapter gets one this year, they have to skip a year before they get another one. The perception I keep hearing all over town is, well, we have money in the bank. We need to let other people have it. Well, that's really not a great way to look at it. It's there to enable every chapter to further the mission. It's not just for a struggling chapter that doesn't have the money. It's for everybody. And you can make it like my chapter just got one, and we were able to do a $500 project because we got a $250 one from National to paint this barn that's used on a property for veterans recreational activities. So just it's easy to do. It can be used for, buying a laptop, and then they could go to TechSoup, and with $250 and using TechSoup, the chapter could purchase a laptop, and that's a perfectly good way to use a grant. That's all.
Okay. And the grant application is on the website. Can someone tell us where that is on the website? And I think you're muted. I don't hear you.
Financial. The financial big button. I just found it for somebody yesterday.
Okay. Are you?
Is everyone still out there?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Ann was going to say something else. So it's
Oh,
under the finance.
Suddenly there was dead silence.
Yeah, no. And you said it's under the financials, under,
The big red button that says financial.
okay,
It's also in the newsletter, September's newsletter, the application.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But on the website, it's a fillable PD, so you don't even have to print it. You can just do it and
okay,
send it off. And we approve them at the Finance Committee, which is the second Sunday of every month.
okay.
And a chapter
And
must be standing.
Is there a unlimited amount of those, or how many do you have a year?
Last year, we had a $5,000 budget, and I believe we took it up to 7.
Okay, I knew it was increased, but I didn't know for sure. So there's a lot out there. You just need to apply, and the financial committee will consider it.
First come, first serve.
First come, first serve. Okay. The next thing on the list is the National Convention officer reports that were done at the convention were really, really good. And the PowerPoints for those have been put on the website. We would recommend that you have all of the financial officers, especially, go to the financial officer PowerPoint and review that. Rebecca, is the membership one on there yet? I didn't look.
Probably not, because I never got it updated. I'm sorry, ladies. When I got home from convention, it's membership time. So
Yeah, life is crazy.
So yeah,
But-
I had a couple of things, and I might go ahead and have her put out what we did, and then I can update it, and we can always replace it. So Jeannie, is the other one out there?
It
Okay.
is out there. Stacy said to put them all out there. I know you were working on making some changes to yours. So once you have that, then we can just update it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
And if some of the mentors were not able to go to convention, I would strongly recommend that you go on and go through those PowerPoint presentations, because they're great. If you go to the website and go to files, and then it'll drop down and go to, I had this all down, and now let's see. you go to the files. And then you click on, let's see, I'm looking. I have it all written out, but
There, if you go into
Go ahead.
files, they're in the first column, about 3/4 of the way down, you'll see the 2022 convention PowerPoints. They're all there.
okay, there they are. So you can direct your chapters to that so that they can go over them. I think the financial one especially was very helpful to let the chapters know what the treasurer does and what the financial officer does and kind of the reasoning for that. That is always a question that a lot of the chapters have is, why is the treasurer doing that? Or why isn't the financial secretary doing that? So that would be a good one to recommend to your chapters. Are there any questions about that? No? Good.
You're doing great.
Okay, we're moving on then.
It's me, Denise.
Yes? Yep.
Just note that the chapter grant application is also under the files page in the third column over.
Okay.
So let's,
Okay, there it is. Yep. So, and that's about midway down the list or so. So it's on there. Okay. Thank you, Jeannie. The next thing I have on the list is shortage of mentors. I'm still struggling. Some of you were really, really generous to give me, to take a couple more chapters, and things were rolling and it looked pretty good. And then a couple of the new mentors that we thought we were going to have lined up have fallen through. And in the meantime, someone else has had to step down. So I'm still struggling to make sure that all the chapters have mentors. Last month, I sent out not only my chapters that I'm assigned to, but 17 other ones. And I'm proud to say, I haven't figured out the percentage, but of the 23 I sent out, I had 17 come back with replies. So the chapters are replying. And then after I've resent and attempted to notify, I got 2 more that did respond. So, there's some great chapters that need mentors. So if you can spare some more time, that would be great. Along with that, Rebecca and I are going to hopefully spend some time together at the end of October and maybe look at some of the chapters that are not needing mentoring as often and giving those mentors a chance to not have to notify them as often with an explanation to the chapters that they'll always be available. And with that, we would hope that if the mentors aren't going to have to check in with them every 2 months, then maybe they'd be willing to take more chapters. So that's something coming up. But in the meantime, if there's anybody that finds that they have time or want some more, I've got some really good chapters that need mentors. And again, if you have anybody that you know that you think might be a good mentor, give me their name and I'll run it by the national officers to see if it's someone that they think might be a good fit, and then we will notify them. And at that point we have them fill out an interest survey and go from there. What we're doing nowadays with the new mentors, and like I said earlier, we've got 3 new ones on board this month. We have paired them up with an experienced mentor, and they're kind of working with them, shadowing them for a couple of check-ins just to see how they're doing. Any communication they're sending to those chapters, the mentor trainer is reviewing it with them and maybe giving them suggestions. It's kind of their go-to person to go to. And we appreciate the mentors that have agreed to take on that role. We've got Ann Berkins is doing a couple of them. Carol Sanchez has agreed to do some. Jen Pecorina is doing some, and I think that might be everybody. Let's see, and yeah, but so if you know of anybody that could be a mentor, it's a little bit less intimidating because we do have someone that will walk along with them while they're learning the ropes. So please consider taking on more chapters. Let me know, and also if you can, if you know of anybody that might be a good mentor, pass their name on to me. The next thing I have on the list is get the reports to me on time so I don't have to email you. We had several this last time where what I'm doing is if you notify the chapter the beginning of August, then by the end of August, you should have made contact with them. The first week in September, you should be able to fill out that report and send it to me. And the second week in September, I'm going through my spreadsheet, and anybody who hasn't reported, I'm sending them an email to remind them that maybe they have forgotten. It's a lot of work to do that. So I'm begging you all as mentors to please get me reports on time so I don't have to keep pestering you. So in the second week in September, I sent out several emails to some of you who didn't have reports in. Quite a few of you got them to me. And there's reasons, some people were on vacation. Someone had a family member have surgery and they just got off track. If you can just let me know what's going on and why I don't have those reports. And then the third week in September, I had to resend to some people to remind them that they haven't gotten those reports into me yet. And some of them I haven't even heard from yet. So, please make it a little easier for me if you can get those reports in on time. Does
So
anybody
when
have
are
any
they
questions
due, and
about
is
that?
there a template for them?
Yes,
'Cause I'm
I
brand
should have.
new.
Yeah, you should have gotten that, but also
Okay.
Jen can
All right.
help you with that to let
Okay.
you know there is a fillable form, the mentor report that was sent to you, and
Okay.
that just gets filled out. And I need it by the end of the first week of the odd months. So the beginning of the even month, you check in with your chapter, and a month later by the first week in the odd month, I need those reports. So we give you plenty of time. If they don't respond to you right away, check in with them a week or two later. Then if they're not responding, get on the phone and call them and go from there. Now, this time of year, we've got a lot of officer changes, and a lot of those chapters have not submitted their officer rosters and had them approved. So the contact information might not be accurate, but if you can't get a hold of them, maybe send an email to the president's email that you have and ask them who their new president is, or ask them for the new board contact information. Eventually, when they send in their officer rosters, Rebecca approves them. Hopefully they've got everything right and she can approve them, and then she forwards that approval to me as she's forwarding to the chapter. And when she sends it to me, I will forward it to the mentor that's assigned to that chapter. So you can check to make sure you've got up-to-date contact information. And I know
yeah,
Rebecca's getting
Denise?
those out as. Yes, yep.
When
Go
you
ahead, Joyce.
forward those things, the printing is so tiny, I can't read it. I don't know if it's your computer or
Rebecca,
mine.
It's not mine. I just forward the email that's sent to me. Rebecca, I know you and Brenda were doing them last year. You usually type it, or your format is different than what Brenda would do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing is I'm forwarding what is sent to me. And what is sent to me is very, very legible. It's bigger, and it basically has the officers listed, or I'm sorry, the officer positions listed, and then it has the officer and it has their email. What Brenda was sending comes from the backside, and it's all very tiny and very condensed and very, very close together. So
Mhm.
I think the one that I send is a much better resource for you. And
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be doing all of those this year myself. So
Well, good, because I thought
Good.
my eyes
Yeah,
were
just-
worse than they actually are.
no, that's what it looks like from the backside. Sorry, ladies.
Well, we appreciated that
thanks.
you had help with it anyway, and we got them eventually. And I know this year we'll be getting those officer rosters sooner because you're going to encourage your chapters to do their compliance sooner and get that all done. So,
Mhm.
yeah. So hopefully we have correct information. If you feel like you've got a wrong number or wrong emails, your emails are coming back, let me know. And between me and Rebecca, we can maybe find numbers for those people that you wouldn't have normally. So just let us know if you feel like the contact information is not accurate, that what you have. Next thing I have on here, I've just added, if you've got chapters, like if you do a report for me and then a week later they contact you with another question, just to make it easier for you, you don't have to send me a report every time they contact you. Maybe summarize it at the end of the month, or group them together so you don't have to send me reports every time you make contact with them. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So at least I want to see one report in the 2-month period, but if you've got a lot going on and you just want to write a report sooner, that's okay. I'll take them and I'll make note of them and I save them in their file, but it's not necessary. You can just kind of list all of your contacts all in one report.
Denise?
Yes. Yep.
This, I have a question. So if we sent you a
Yep.
report saying that there was a concern, and
Yeah.
then 2 weeks later, the chapter got back to you and said that they resolved it, may we just send that to you, just saying that it's
Oh,
resolved?
ye-
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. That's a good thing to do. And I read them and I try to, if there's a concern that needs to be passed on to someone else or a comment about it, I will, I'll reply to you. Or if I would send something on to Rebecca, I would copy the mentor on it too. So that the issues being worked on or been brought up. But if you guys ever feel like if I've missed something, I won't be offended if you send me another email and say, I sent you this, what's going on, or, whatever. So, but definitely if it's something you want to update me on, that's great. I know, Teresa, I appreciated that when you did send that one, because it was kind of a goofy confusing thing. So it was nice to get it all noted. So we have it in their chart or in their file. So any other questions about the reports? No? Okay. And I am keeping track. If you send me a report and it says they haven't responded, I color it different on the Excel sheet. So I'm keeping track of, yes, you were telling me, or you're reporting that they haven't responded. Just so we have that also. The next thing I have on the list is success stories, fundraiser ideas, recruiting ideas. Does anybody have things they want to share, things that they've been finding with their chapters that are good, or consistent issues? Anything you want to bring up? Anybody? I know I've been reading a lot of some
Carol
really
does.
success. Okay, go ahead.
My New York 7 chapter, they're rocking it. And they had a fundraiser and they worked with the Buffalo Bills and I don't know who the Sabres are, but
Hockey
they
team.
did a fundraiser with them and they earned $1,500. So any chapters that have a professional league in their city, or even semi-pro, whether it's football, basketball, soccer, anything like that, approach them and see if they'll do a fundraiser for you. And also any universities. I know for us, when I was part of New Mexico, we had several veterans that were in part of fraternities, and we got hold of them and they did fundraisers for us and they brought in some money for us.
Just to correct you, the Sabres is a hockey team.
Okay, I knew the Buffalo Bills, but I didn't know who the Sabres were.
They're owned by the same. They're owned by the same guy, except that
Same
one
guy?
excels and one excels and the other one doesn't.
Okay.
All right, yeah, so that's a good one. Amy, Amy, can you tell us about that one chapter that you sent the report today? What did they do for their fundraiser?
Go back. I have all that stuff at work on my flash drive, and I did not bring it home with me tonight because I left it sitting on my desk.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to think. Anyway, they brought, it wasn't like $28,000 they made from I don't know. It was a good one anyway. And I read like 5 reports and I can't remember what chapter it was and what they did, but yeah, if you find it or think of it, let us know here. Who else has had some good fundraisers that their chapters have been doing?
Anne has her hand up.
I have somehow messed up my video, and rather than getting off, you're just going to look at the Golden Gate Bridge, I guess.
Oh, I love that view.
Technology is not my friend tonight. I met with 4 Tennessee chapters a week ago Sunday, and one of them is very close to the Bristol Raceway, like NASCAR, and they assisted with collecting admissions, and they did really well. Another one is partnered with Kroger, and they let them collect things. I know it varies by the store whether they'll let you do that, but I thought those were 2 very interesting. And another chapter had someone use a 3D printer and make little, and I'm just going to call them, they almost look like coins, but they're not. And they didn't use the official logo, but they're really cute. You know, I don't know a thing about 3D printers. So the student at the college used it as a project and made them. All they had to do was furnish the materials, which according to them weren't very much. So, you know, there's technology out there. You just got to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're selling these little things for like $5 a piece, and they're just rolling with it.
Wow. Wow. Jen Schindler, your chapter seems to be doing some really good fundraiser things. What are you guys doing?
We just earlier this month hosted and did a very large golf tournament. Not as good as last year. Last year was our first year. This is our second. But we netted. We're going to net. We still have some funds coming in. We're going to net over 23, maybe 24,000.
Wow. Wow.
So we're rearranging budgets and everything else to accommodate that. But we had a very good team who were the fundraising team for the golf tournament, and they went out, they got sponsors, and they got silent auction baskets, and all of this going on. The biggest portion of our work, well, the board and several other members were at convention. And then some of us from convention ended up with COVID, so we were sidelined another 2 weeks. But the fundraising team did a wonderful job. And I don't think we kind of do a little fundraiser of some kind every other month or something. It can be, you know, dinner with one of the fast food restaurants, or I think we're going to do C's Candy and things like that. But we have this big fundraiser, but we do little ones on the side too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like it seems like you guys have done really well. Who else? Anybody else have your hand up? Anybody?
I found the form,
Oh, okay.
North Carolina 16, Cape Fear. They had a benefit for Stop Soldier Suicide. They called it Banding Together for Cape Fear Blue Star Mothers. They had over 400 people in attendance. They had 3 bands throughout the day, food trucks and raffles. They raised over $28,500, and they're still collecting donations.
How much?
28,500.
That's awesome.
And they're just a little over a year old, guys.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's amazing. These chapters who say they can't raise money or they're having trouble financially, there are things out there. It's just, you have to look at your area and what other organizations are out there that can partner with you. There's lots of ways that people can raise money. So we see them all the time in these reports. So encourage your chapters that first apply for the grant to get their 250, but then there are other things out there. Does anybody else have any fundraisers, anything there? No?
I'm just wondering if everybody's using Amazon Smile, it's easy, passive, income. It's not a ton, but hey, it pays your insurance or
adds
pays
up.
whatever.
Yeah, that adds up. So, that would be something, I don't know who would, I don't know, Rebecca, on the board, if there's someone or the financial committee, maybe that would be a newspaper article. And, here are some ideas that you can do. And, Amazon Smile is an easy one to do without, any work at all. Ship Thrifty has an incentive program. There might be others too, but I don't know who in the organization would be the one to be putting that out there. But I think that's, there's lots of things out there that we can tell the chapters about.
And my chapter's getting between $50 and $75 a month from Ship Thrifty referrals. And that's just my big mouth promoting it.
Well, it's working. That mouth is working. That's awesome. And that's easy. I mean, you don't have to do a thing and you're getting those credits from them. So that's awesome. How about anybody have any great recruiting ideas that they've heard of? Chapters are always struggling to find new members. Anybody got anything out there?
I learned of one from Colorado 8. They started doing a picnic at the end of the school year for all of those ROTC recruits who are going into the military for the students and for their moms. They've been able to pick up a lot of members that way. My members like that idea so much that we're looking into doing one this year for that. That's a great way of getting new moms, especially.
I know a lot of chapters are doing the graduation honor court or the court cords for anybody going in the military. It's another way to get those new moms in there. Anybody else?
We have cards printed, Denise, that are specifically talking about what the mission of our organization is. And instead of having my name on it or somebody else's name, it's a generic card. And then we take those tiny little Avery stickers. And I mean, they're no bigger than a postage stamp. And then we put our own contact information on the back. And we've been real successful with those. If somebody says, well, what do we do? Or we show that we're on Facebook, we tell them to download the app. That's a great recruiting tool. I know I'm a broken record talking about the app, but when you're out and somebody wants to know what you do, just have them download that free app right there standing in front of you. They can read the history. They can join right then and there on that app. They don't have to get a piece of paper or anything. I mean, it happens right there. And you know, I just hear people say we can't find. Well, you've got to go out to the public. I mean, we do a lot of stuff. 9/11, we were out there. Veterans Day, we're in 3 different places. Not so much to promote the stuff we, ask donations for, but just to get our name out there. You just never know who you're going to attract, but you can't get members sitting at home. It does not work. And I see chapters all over the place telling me they can't get members. And I ask them what they're doing, and I either get a blank stare or we don't know what to do. And I know there was some discussion in the Finance Committee at one time about publishing a fundraising newsletter. And the person that was tasked to do it, I don't know quite whatever happened, but I will revisit that with Julie.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea to share all these ideas. And the mentors can only do so much with the few chapters that they have, but if it could go organization wide, I think it'd be more beneficial. All right, anybody else have any recruiting ideas or any issues, anything they want brought up? Anybody?
Jen had her hand up again.
Okay. Go ahead, Jen.
My chapter attends a yearly dinner sponsored by one of the veterans districts, memorial districts in our area. And they have the dinner for the local high school district. And I believe there's 5 high schools. And we attend, and each one of our Blue Star mothers is a hostess at one of the tables. And we give each prospective mom a little package with our card, our brochure. This year we had tissues, we had lifesavers in them, because Blue Star Moms is a lifesaver for these new moms. And we normally, out of that, I think they had 40 tables. And we normally will get 2 or 3 new moms every year from it. In fact, one of our board members, that's how she connected with us. That's it.
Thank you. It's a good one. It's a good one. Anybody else? Okay, last call. Any other issues or anything you can think of that will help the mentor program? Any questions from anybody?
Denise, I don't have any of those comments, but I would like to talk or mention just real quickly. Everybody knows that we're in the midst of membership right now. We've had quite a few members that for various reasons could not renew online, and so they just joined again. That causes a bigger issue for us at the national level. We've got multiple profiles that then we have to try to figure out what's going on. So if you are talking to any of your chapters and they mention that they're having a difficult time logging on to renew, ask them to please reach out to the National 1BP. It could be something very simple that needs to be adjusted in their profile. It could be the fact that we just need to reset their password. It could be the fact that they lapsed last year, and that's why it won't let them renew this year. A lot of members are not understanding that if they've opted out for a year, and that's perfectly fine if they need to opt out for a year, when they come back, they can't just renew. There are some things that need to be done. So if you have any of your chapters, ask about that. That would be great. And then the other thing, and I've been pushing this I pushed this all last year when I took over as 1VP, and I continue to push it this year. And I know some of the chapters are really getting sick and tired of me saying it. But when I send them an email introducing a new member or accepting a chapter dues that they've sent, I am letting them know that I've noticed that they're not using the @bluestarmothers.us email addresses. They're still using their personal emails. And so I've really been pushing for all the chapters to convert to those. They really should not be doing business on a personal email, and especially when it comes to finances of the chapter and your membership. And it's also an easier transition. So for you guys as mentors, it doesn't really matter who the new board is. If you can send your mentor email to those at bluestarmothers.us, it doesn't matter if Janie is no longer the president, but Susie is now. That president is getting your email. So again, if I'm going to kind of recruit some support on that, and try to get you guys to help push that as well. And it looks like Chris Hoffman went out. Where did we lost Chris? She's in the waiting room. There she is. She's reconnecting.
Hi, Chris. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. That's
Is
okay.
it okay to use our personal emails for mentor work? I'm not an officer anymore, so I no longer have an officer
Yes.
email.
Yeah, as a mentor, we don't want you using a chapter officer email. So your personal email is what you should use. We don't want anybody using a work email, but a personal email. The other thing you can do as a mentor is you can get a mentor email address through the @bluestarmothers.us. And all you need to do is send an email to the webmaster @bluestarmothers.us, and she will work with you to get an email. And Jeannie, do they say like Denise G Mentor? What is the address on it?
The
How do you
ones
do
I've
that?
set up will have mentor and then the dot, the person's first name @bluestarmothers.us. Or if
Okay.
it's somebody who's got the same, a common first name, then I'll put a last initial with it. But it'll start out as mentor dot their name @bluestarmothers.us.
Okay. And with that, if you do get a mentor email or you're using a different email, please let me know so that I can change all my contact information. So you'll be getting the emails from me. So if you're using an officer email, so chapter Montana 1, president president.montana1 @bluestarmothers.us. If you're using that, please switch to a personal or a mentor email for your mentor business. Does that make sense? I kind of said that goofy like, but don't be using your chapter officer emails for mentor business, because you could be not elected next year and then all of your chapters would not be able to be contacting you. You never know.
Yeah.
And that same thing with a work email. We don't want you using the work email because, it happens that someone might get laid off or terminated tomorrow, and then you wouldn't have any of your Blue Star Mother business with you because you've lost it on your work email. Does anybody have any questions about that?
I'm just going to jump in there and piggyback on that too, because again, by using the @bluestarmothers.us email, again, it comes across as being more professional, and you may get better response by that instead of using just a personal email. Even though you've introduced yourself as the chapter mentor, sometimes it's kind of like, who's this person and why are they wanting to know what we're doing? So I highly recommend getting the mentor emails if you can do that. I know it's another email to have to check, but you may get a better response.
So we contact Jean to have
Yeah.
that set up
Contact her.
for us? Is that right?
Yep. At the webmaster @bluestarmothers.us.
Okay. Yes.
And then she'll work with you on getting that going. Anybody else have any questions about that? And, in along that, Rebecca's saying that the mentor or the chapters should be using that bluestarmother.us email. Strongly encourage your chapters not to be using a work email. We've heard, said that over and over again, that the chapters shouldn't be using a work email for any of their officers. All right. Any other questions or comments from anybody? Did I forget anything? My goal was to keep it under an hour, so we're close to that right now. I want to let everybody know that I'm going on a 2-week vacation for my 40th anniversary, and we're leaving Wednesday morning. I will check my emails, but I probably, unless it's something really important, you won't hear back from me for 2 months or 2 weeks, not 2 months, 2 weeks. And I would love to visit a few of you on my way, but we're booked really tight. We're doing a road trip. We're going to Ohio, Kentucky, Georgia. We're staying in a tree house in Georgia. We're going to North Carolina, Lexington, Kentucky, and back home. So I will miss you all, but I probably won't be thinking about you too much unless you have an emergency. If there's a mentor issue, you can always go to Rebecca at First VP, and she can help you out too if I'm not responding. Does anybody have any comments or anything? Do you guys
Have a
want to
good
vote?
trip.
Do you
Have
want to
fun.
vote and give me permission to leave, or am I good?
You're good.
You're good. All right.
Good.
Okay. Let me see. I've got someone was texting me here. Let me see if there's anything there. Okay. All right. If nothing else, let's adjourn this meeting, and thank you so much for joining us, and get those reports in on time, please, please, please. So when I get back on October 6th, no, you'll just be notifying your chapter. So I don't expect any reports yet then, but as soon as you can, get them in. Here's another tip. When I contact my chapters, when they get back to me, I do my report right away, and I send it to the mentor.chair email address. I don't wait till the end of the month and do all of my reports. I do them as I get them. That way it's not so overwhelming at the end of the month. That's the tip for the night that Denise has.
Thank you, Denise. Have fun.
Bye, ladies. Be safe, Denise.
Bye.
Bye. Have fun, Denise.
Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Everybody.
Good night.
Good night.